If we gave them a different world to live in, they would behave differently.
We all involved. This attorney, Mr. Jackson, his group BPM is very powerful. Deals with one of the main issues, a proactive approach. And that's what this is about. We're the proactive approach, the short and long-term approach. We aren't just out here reactive because, we'll be out here every day.
The images of the water are shocking enough.
Would you drink that? People have dumped in this river forever. It's like we're in a cesspool.
My tub, you should see it, it's brown.
And then come the headlines. An American city failed to provide basic protections to its citizens, and now the children of Flint have much higher than normal levels of lead in their blood. Rick Snyder, governor of Michigan, has apologized.
I am sorry, and I will fix it.
President Obama declared a national emergency.
You can't shortchange basic services that we provide to our people.
My name is Diallo, Sekou. My address is on the record. I want to talk to you guys real quick about acquiescence. My question is, how many council members be interested in treated like a 16 to 25-year-old African-American man by show of hands?
Sir, hold on. Sir. Yeah, so this is your time.
This is trained staff from neighborhoods to go out into hospitals and the community to act as mediators to help interrupt conflicts that could end in violence. This meeting is one step towards action and change.
We're hoping that we'll form a great partnership and we can curb or eliminate an impact of violence that's taking place in our city. That's the main key thing.
And Dr. Crandall says they'll be creating a map of key neighborhoods that they will focus on and a full list of partners.
Who's great?
I'm great!
Who's great?
I'm great!
Who's strong?
I'm strong!
Who's strong?
I'm strong!
Who's strong?
I'm strong!
Who's unstoppable?
I'm unstoppable!
Who's unstoppable?
I'm unstoppable!
Who's unstoppable?
I'm unstoppable!
Now, do y'all believe that?
Yes, sir!
The only thing that can stop you is who?
High rate of speed. Police officer T.L. Landerville, who's a 7-year veteran, was traveling northbound on Liberty Street. Police officer Landerville was going to turn north, or actually turn east on 9th Street. As he began to turn east on 9th Street, unbeknownst to him, the red Camaro being driven by the suspect turned west on 9th Street and hit the police officer head on.
About 30 minutes ago, on 9th and Liberty, where I witnessed a police officer turning the corner as a suspect that was fleeing from them in the car collided into each other. After he collided into the police car, he bounced off and hit a wall where he got out disoriented and hurt. Then he hopped out the car after the suspect, and he was on foot and close enough to tackle this suspect, or at least tase this suspect. He chose to pull his firearm and shoot him.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No racist! Police! No racist! Police! No racist!
Greetings world, this is Anonymous. We ask that you turn your attention to Jacksonville, Florida, where yet another case of excessive force by our police officers, who have taken an oath to protect and serve, has occurred. On May 22, 2016, a Sunday afternoon in the historic Springfield district of Jacksonville, another unarmed man was recklessly and aggressively shot in the streets while adults and children witnessed. 22-year-old Vernell Bing, known as Lil Red, was being pursued by officers when the pursuit continued at high speeds in a residential area.
I heard someone mention something about 1857. 1857 is a Supreme Court case that has never been overturned. It's called a Dred Scott case. It says the black man has no rights in which the white man can ever respect. So I stand before this council today with the mother, Shirley McDaniel, the mother of Vernell Bing Jr., young man who was murdered by exit at JSO 24 days ago. I came to this council earlier this year and I presented 19 copies to y'all about grants to get body cameras. Cameras, votes, that's not enough. But it won't be enough. We're talking about over 65 years that this Northwest community has been underfunded. We've set meetings, no one calls back, right? We set more meetings, people still don't call back, they don't respond. Council needs to work overtime for this black agenda.
Right now, JSO's investigation into a deadly police shooting will be reviewed by the FBI. JSO made the announcement after the community pressed for more oversight into the shooting of Vernell Bing Jr. The FBI's investigation will come after JSO's internal review of what happened.
That investigation will be handed to the Department of Justice. It will decide if further action is needed, which could mean a probe into possible civil rights violations. Action News Jax has extensive team coverage tonight from the community's reaction to what our expert says JSO is doing differently for this shooting. But first, we begin with Jenna Bourne at the FBI headquarters. And Jenna, this is the first time Sheriff Williams has called for this kind of review.
The first time in his first year as sheriff here. He says it's not uncommon for agents here at the FBI to review a JSO investigation, but they don't always hold a press conference for it. After weeks of protesting, marching on the FBI, and sending this color of law complaint to the United States Attorney's Office, activists supporting Vernell Bing got word from the FBI it's paying attention.
We have determined that the best course of action for our community is that the FBI will review this incident and provide results to the Department of Justice.
When JSO is done with its internal investigation, we want the FBI to conduct their own investigation.
They have to investigate the murder. They have to investigate the sheriff department as well. And no, I'm not satisfied.
Coach Vic Vincalucci is joining us now from Studio B.
Activists from the Kemetic Empire say the officer didn't need to shoot.
It's not justifiable.
They looked at Dallas. We gonna keep this ground zero. This is ground zero. Every city, every hood got a ground zero. You don't leave this spot. You don't move this energy nowhere. They need to be constantly reminded, we ain't gonna have you shooting our men down in the goddamn street like dogs. You understand? So when we say power to the people, that comes from organizing, mobilizing, execution. Moving as one unit. We can't be fractionalized. That's how they break us down.
So they expected something from you. But how come we are organized group instead of U.S. citizens trying to see our country? Why are we being kicked out? This is crazy. So how long y'all gonna follow it? No, where's no, what's the code? See this? We walk around, the police come, kick us out. Is this America y'all want to make great? Y'all want to kick the young people out for walking around the goddamn Trump rally? So we not Americans? We not Americans? We not Americans, we ain't do nothing. Is this not the home of the free? The brave? Allah Akbar! This is kicked out for walking around the Hey! Hey, man, you don't gotta touch up, bro. You don't gotta touch up, bro. Don't touch nobody. So nobody gotta be touching these motherfuckers. Nobody. We make sure we get an A.
During this meeting, City Councilman Reggie Brown asked General Counsel to draft a legislation proposal to create a citizen review board. It would be independent from JSO, but would only be able to review the findings of the JSO Internal Affairs Unit's investigation of police conduct after the fact. The chairman of activist organization, the Kemetic Empire, tells me it's a start, but he may push to change state law.
I'm not satisfied until all the power belongs to the people. This isn't necessarily a review board that has teeth.
Fraternal Order of Police President Steve Zona tells me the union opposes citizen review boards investigating officers' conduct.
They could be agenda-driven, emotionally driven, politically driven. We're open to any investigation from another law enforcement agency, whatever it is.
One thing that came up repeatedly during this meeting is deconsolidating Jacksonville. Councilman Brown tells me some more separation from Jacksonville's neighboring beach municipalities would strengthen the city's black vote. I'm working on that side of the story for you now. I'll have that all new for you at 6.
Diallo, Sekou. I want to ask the council if I can make an exception. Now, the young lady I want to introduce you guys to. Can I bring up there?
One speaker at a time, but you can introduce us to someone.
She won't speak.
You can introduce us.
She come up? Come on. Thank you. This is Renee Sanders. We recently did a press conference last week. Her husband was George DeCosta Jr. He was the 110th homicide victim in the city of Jacksonville. And I wanted y'all to see some of the things my organization deals with, some of the things the regular people deal with. She's He's been running a tax business for several years in the city, and he was murdered in broad daylight. He didn't get a lot of play because that same day, this city was under a lot of turmoil. That day, they had a bank robbery, and he had hostages. And at 1:30 in the afternoon, in that 1 o'clock hour, her husband was murdered in broad daylight. And so this is Renee Sanders. Her husband was George Acosta Jr., and she's offering a $20,000 reward for the capture and conviction of anyone who has something to do with it. Also, Crime Stoppers is offering a $3,000 reward for just the arrest. The other thing I want to touch on is the quality of life on the side of town that I live on, and a lot of the crime that exists and under development. So when you define quality of life, it's defined as health, comfort, happiness, experienced by an individual or group. So we know the history of Jacksonville. You know the history of Jacksonville with dealing with the black community has a lot of discriminatory practices and undermining of the city. For example, 4 federal superfunded sites. Those are sites that are built on ash sites. Schools, daycares that are built on ash sites, black ones in Jacksonville, Florida. 1959, they built Interstate 95. You know where that was built at? That went through the black community. 1960, you had 20th Street Expressway. You know where that's at? That divided up the black community. 1967, you had something called consolidation. Did you know what that did? That took that 40% black vote and suppressed it. That took the economic power that was an already divided community and shrunk it even further. So when you read the book, Quiet Revolution, that documents this, you read the mindset of the individuals that was in office. So now we have new individuals in office. And so what you talk about, or what I think is, you have something called benign neglect. It looks like you're dealing with the issue, but you're not really dealing with the issue. So we got to look at reforming, or some type of reform when it comes to the consolidation of the city.